Hi Aries, welcome to June. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. Before I start your reading, I want to call in some good energy. So this month we have a new moon eclipse in Gemini, which is favorable to your sign. And then Venus moves into Cancer on the 3rd. We have the new moon eclipse on the 10th. Mars moves into Leo on the 12th, which is also favorable to your sign. Jupiter goes retrograde on June 20th. Mercury is retrograde most of the month in Gemini. It will go direct on the 22nd. Then we have a full moon in Capricorn on the 24th. And Neptune will retrograde on June 25th. And it will be retrograde until December. So let's see what the cards say for Aries. And we'll talk about the astrology later. So what does Aries need to know about love and relationships for June 2021? What is coming up? We're still in eclipse season, Mercury retrograde. This eclipse is, but let's see what the cards say first. I'll get into that later. Okay, what does Aries need to know about love and relationships for the month of June 2021? The Hangman, the Seven of Swords, the Judgment, the Ace of Cups, the Moon, the Two of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, the Seven of Wands, the Ten of Wands, the World, and the card underneath the deck is the Queen of Pentacles. So you have the Hangman here. You may feel like your life has been in limbo. The Hangman's about having patience. It's about seeing things from a different perspective. It also means giving something up for something better. But when it's crossed by the Seven of Swords, you may feel like that you're the scapegoat for someone else's, like you're being blamed for things that you may not feel is justified. The Seven of Swords energy is kind of a sneaky energy. Either you're not facing the truth about something, someone's not being totally honest with you or transparent with you. The Seven of Swords energy can be someone saying one thing to your face, but saying something else behind your back, or not. So you may not be getting accurate information. And if you're trying to make a decision, especially with Mercury retrograde this month, and squaring Neptune, you may want to check into the details. Don't take action. Like, wait, be patient. I know Aries, when you make up your mind, you want to take action right away, but there may be some confusion this month in relationships where you may want to have a conversation and make sure that you're making decisions based on the facts and not what you think is real and it may not be. Or don't let your imagination, because you also have the Moon here, which is a card of imagination, and sometimes blowing things out of proportion. Sometimes, you're seeing things either better or worse than what they are, or you might be idealizing a situation and not really seeing the reality. Now you have the Judgment here. The Judgment is about, it's a card of rebirth. It's a card of working on yourself, having an awakening, and working on improvement, realizing where you need to make changes, taking action to make change. And you also have this Ace of Cups. So you have an opportunity this summer, starting in June, to make a new beginning in relationships in your life. The Ace of Cups can represent a new beginning in love, a new stage in a relationship. It could even be a new creative project, because the cups represent creativity, giving birth to something. You have the Queen of Pentacles here, so you could be dealing with an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You also have the Queen of Swords, so that could be an Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. But But even if it's not the person, the Pentacles represent security. You're looking for security in love. You're looking for someone who is down to earth, stable. If you're dealing with someone that's represented by this card, you may need to... There's an element of forgiveness with the Judgment card. You may need to forgive them, or they may need to forgive you. There's some aspect of forgiveness. Because I feel like you're in transition. You have these 2 sevens here. You may be standing up for yourself more, or fighting. Someone might be setting boundaries that you don't like. And with the Moon card coming up in the future and the 2 of Pentacles, the Moon card is a card of illusion. Sometimes it can mean creativity. If you're starting a new creative project, you're going to be very creative. You know, the best thing to do under a Neptune influence is something creative, creativity. But if it has anything to do with, and this card is, it's a Neptune card. It relates to the planet Neptune, Pisces. It may mean that you have to really look at what, like your thoughts might be, you might be misunderstanding something. There might be some kind of misunderstanding in a relationship, or you might be not seeing things clearly. Especially with the 7 of Swords, if you're not experiencing the energy of someone of deception, then you could be deceiving yourself. You might not be seeing things clearly. You may feel that you're being used, or you yourself might be using someone. It's one or the other. Or you may feel like you're not getting what you deserve in some situation, in a relationship. But before you take action and do something like sever ties, you really need to look clearly. So I wouldn't make any definite decisions yet until this influence passes, until we get out of this confusing, because Mercury square Neptune this month, we're not thinking clearly. You have the 2 of Pentacles here. This is a card of managing, juggling a lot of projects. Sometimes it could mean that you're laughing on the outside, crying on the inside. You're pretending that everything's okay, and you're not really speaking up about what you need. So if that's the case, then you need to communicate to resolve things. Don't think that people are going to read your mind or give you what you need. You have to speak up and ask for what you need. Now, this is a time card of 2 months, so I feel like in 2 months things might get a little clearer, especially because Neptune will start going retrograde at the end of this month, and that will help you to think clearly or see the reality of your situation. Now, you have the Queen of Swords here. So you could be dealing with someone that you think is a little bit being too harsh with you, or unemotional, someone who's unapproachable. But it's also in your negative thinking sector, so it could be that you're just seeing them in that negative light and they're not really like that. It could also mean that you have these qualities, that you've got the wall up and you're not letting someone in. You're not being vulnerable. You're keeping yourself separate from someone. You're not wanting to connect in some way. So if that's true, then you need to drop your guard and be more vulnerable. Don't be afraid to show your true, your loving side, your tender side. In your environment, you have the 7 of Wands. This is a card of standing up for what you believe in, setting boundaries. If there's competition, if you're in a relationship and there's competition, you're the favored one. You have the upper hand. Sometimes this card can represent your partner's thoughts, so they may feel like they have to set boundaries with you. I feel like there's some kind of illusion or delusion going on in a relationship, and you need some clarity. Whether that means being clear with your own thoughts, starting to see things realistically, and to do that, you have to be more vulnerable. You have to have those conversations. Now, the good thing is you have this 10 of Wands in your hopes and wishes. The 10 of Wands means you've been carrying a heavy burden, so you've been under a lot of stress. Maybe you've got too many projects or too many things going on, and it's stopping you. You don't have time for love, or you don't have time to devote to a relationship. The 10 of Wands means that that's coming to an end. You're going to be able to put your burdens down. You have the World card here as an outcome, which is great. It means things coming together. It could also mean a cycle is ending, that's been causing you a lot of problems, that's been burdening, like a burden. So if you're in a relationship that hasn't been working, or you feel like someone's been a burden to you, that's coming to an end. Or if you're dealing with work that, whatever the thing is that you feel like you're carrying this heavy burden, I feel like that cycle is coming to an end. And you're going to be freed in some way. The World card is freedom. It's about, existing in a state of grace. So it could be that this new beginning, that this new love that comes in, or this new opportunity even if you're in a current relationship, it could be a new cycle coming in where you finally clear up the misunderstandings and you take action in a positive way. But this new beginning could actually bring you a lot of what you need. You may feel like, oh, I'm finally doing I'm finally in the relationship I need to be in. I'm finally freed of the burdens I've had, and I'm ready to move to the next level. I'm ready to so you might be taking a relationship. Once you clear up the confusion, you might be taking a relationship to a new level. Or you could be even starting or if you're giving something up, because the hangman sometimes means making a sacrifice, giving something up for something better. So you could be leaving one relationship, moving into a new relationship. If that's the case, I feel like you'll be happier in this new situation. That whatever you give up, you're not going to lose anything. If that, you might be afraid of, like you're holding on to something because you think that's the best place to be, but you might be giving something up to move into a better situation where you'll ultimately be happier. So I feel like that's the energy of this reading. Let's see what the astrology has to say. So you have the new moon eclipse in your third house, and this is conjunct Mercury, which is retrograde. So there could be a message that comes in. The third house has to do with siblings, friendship. You might hear from a family member. There could be a new relationship with family, with relatives, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, cousins, but also friendship. The third house can be friendship too. So you might hear from someone, because when Mercury retrogrades, it usually brings people back from the past, or you revisit issues from the past. So you could be revisiting a relationship from the past, or reconnecting with people from your past. Now, this new moon, an eclipse is a major energy. And especially in Gemini, the topic, the subject of Gemini, the important thing, the energy of this new moon is communication, sharing ideas, speaking up about what you need, communicating so that people understand you, which is going to be difficult because right now Mercury is squaring Neptune, and Neptune's in your 12th house. So the 12th house is your psychological house. So if there's anything that's holding you back psychologically, this is a good time to talk about it, to get at it, to solve that issue. At the same time that the new moon eclipse is squaring Neptune, the moon is also trining Saturn. It's a separating aspect, but it's still there. And Saturn's in your 11th house. So you could, if you clear this up, I think this eclipse is giving you a chance to release psychological blockages and strengthen your relationships, both with friendships and family. Because Saturn in the 11th, this new beginning, whatever you start with under the positive influence of Saturn is going to be in place for a long time. So you could be connecting with new groups of people, making new friendships, reconnecting with past friendships that are going to be in your life for a long time. Venus is in Cancer. It moves into Cancer on the 3rd, and it's going to be sextiling Uranus around the time of this new moon. It's applying right now, but around the new moon, and then a few days later or a week later, it'll be in a sextile aspect with Uranus. So Venus is in your 4th house, and it's making a favorable aspect to Uranus in your 2nd house. So that's good for home. Your home life will be a lot more harmonious. So if you've been fighting, because you've had Mars in your 4th house, and that brings conflict. If you're not taking action and being energetic around the house, you might be fighting with the people that you're living with. Mars has been in Cancer, but it's moving out. It's going to be moving into Leo on the 12th. So just after this new moon, Mars will move into your 5th house, and that will be much better. because when Mars moves into the 5th house, you won't have that conflict. You won't feel like you're fighting all the time. And you'll have Venus in the 4th house, which will bring harmony and peace. And possibly, if you have your own home, you might be fixing it up or doing some redecorating, cleaning, whatever. Feathering your nest. And Venus sextile Uranus is really good about money, because you have Uranus in the 2nd house. There could be some income, unexpected financial things coming in, unexpected love. That's going to bring you more support. That's going to make you feel a little bit more secure. Now, Mars, before it leaves Cancer, is going to oppose Pluto in Capricorn. So you're going to have this 4th house, 10th house aspect, Pluto in your 10th. So there could be some power struggles going on. You're taking care of things at home, but then you have demands with your career, your life direction. There could be some power struggles in the home before Mars moves into Leo. So just be aware of that. Try to compromise. Don't try to bully someone, or don't be bullied. Pluto in the 10th, though, is really good it's going to transform your life direction. But you don't want to be too, Mars in Cancer, you may not be showing your anger. You might have repressed anger when Mars is in Cancer. So you might be hiding, you might be feeling resentful. And it may come out as, unexpected outbursts or power struggles. Mars, though, is trining Neptune while it's in Cancer. And so it's really a good time. And with Neptune in the 12th, that's like a spiritual, soul-searching type of aspect. So it's a good time to really connect with your spirituality, take time out and meditate, connect with your psychological health. If there's anything that needs to be dealt with psychologically, my blockages, psychological baggage that you need to release, this is a good time to do that. You have Chiron in Aries, so you really need healing at this time. Chiron is the wounded healer. I feel like this could be a healing moment for you. And you have the support of your friends. So don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable and to reach out for help. Okay, then, now we also have Saturn squaring Uranus this month. And that's happening in your 11th house and your 2nd house. So you could have some conflict around money with friends. Maybe you want to do something, but you feel like you don't have the funds. Or maybe a friendship, you want to be free, you need freedom from something at this time. Some kind of financial obligation around friendship, or a goal that you're wanting to achieve. There could be some issues around money. The full moon, now the full moon is happening on June 24th, but before that Jupiter starts to go retrograde on the 20th. So in between this full moon, there'll be Jupiter retrograding and Neptune, and the full moon will be right in the middle. So the full moon happens, Jupiter goes retrograde on the 20th, the full moon happens on the 24th, and Neptune retrogrades on the 26th. And before that, also Mercury goes direct. So when Mercury goes direct, just before this full moon, it will be great, because we'll be coming out of that confusion and misunderstandings and miscommunication. Things that were held up will start to, unravel and start moving forward again. So you have this full moon happening in your 4th and 10th house, but Venus is really close to this full moon. It's an out of sign kind of conjunction. No, it's not even. What am I saying? Venus will be in your 4th house, but it'll be at 26 degrees. So this sun and moon, the sun will be in your 4th house, the moon will be in your 10th house. But Venus will be opposing Pluto in late degrees of Capricorn. So there could be power struggles. Something will come to a head in your home and your life direction. So if you've been having problems in a relationship or problems with people from home, you may come to some kind of solution when Venus and Pluto oppose each other. But there could be manipulation, there could be power struggles. So try to, find that middle ground. Try to compromise. What else is happening? Mercury will be trining Saturn. So this is good for once Mercury goes direct, it's a good time for communication, for signing contracts, seeing things clearly, because Saturn shows the reality. Now Venus will also be trining Neptune. So if there's something that, like a dream or a goal that you want to achieve, Venus will help you. Venus trine Neptune is a positive influence. So if you're doing anything creative, you're going to come up with a lot of ideas. You might find inspired ideas, or there could be a relationship in your life that helps you to achieve a goal, that helps you to overcome any kind of psychological blockages. Now Mars will be moving into Leo on the 12th, and at some point around this full moon, it'll be moving toward an opposition with Saturn. So when Mars moves into Leo, it's going to be in your 5th house, and Saturn's going to be into your 11th house. So you may feel blocked from doing what you want to do. You may want to do something creative, but you may feel like authority figures are holding you back. Or there could be a friendship. There could be problems with friendships. Maybe some anger issues that you need to resolve. I feel like you're going to have some power struggles this month, but the best way to get out of it is to communicate and be willing to compromise. And if something is not working, maybe it's time to move on, because you're having this T-square with Saturn. When Mars opposes Saturn, it will also be squaring Uranus. Both Saturn and Mars will be squaring Uranus, creating a T-square. So there's going to be tension. And with Uranus in the 2nd house, the main issue will be money and security. And how do I achieve that? You may have to move out. You might have to find another means of support, or you might feel like your financial situation or your state is fluctuating. So I feel that something is going to come to a head around the home, around career, around your finances, and around friendships and relationships, or the goals that you're trying to achieve. And you may have to you're going to have some kind of solution or some kind of conclusion. The full moon in Capricorn when there are full moons, it brings things to the surface. It brings reality to the surface. So you're going to start to see the reality of your situation. And that's good, because you're going to get away from the confusion of Neptune. Like if you've been deluding yourself or idealizing something and not really seeing things clearly, I feel like you might get some clarity by the end of the month. And that will help you to solve whatever problems you're experiencing. Because once you start seeing the reality, then you know what action to take. And that might involve walking away from something that you thought you couldn't live without, or that you thought was a good deal at the time. You may find that, you didn't see things clearly, and now you're seeing the reality. But I feel like you're going to end the month by putting down a burden that you've been carrying. And you're going to feel more of a feeling of freedom. So don't be afraid to drop your guard. Don't be afraid to speak up. And don't be afraid to see the truth. Don't keep sweeping things under the rug. And if people are there that want to help you, let them. Drop your guard, be more vulnerable, let people help you. Because I feel like you have support to help you get out of a jam and to get to a better spot and to get to this world energy, which is completion and freedom. You need freedom from something this month. And whatever you're moving toward, I think is going to be an improvement. So you won't be so burdened. You won't be having to pretend to be happy. You will actually have more clarity and move toward a better solution. So I hope that makes sense. This is a general reading. It may not apply to everyone, but if it applied to you, click on the like button, click on the subscribe button. If you'd like a private reading, click on the link in the description box. It'll take you to my website, and we can get you on the schedule. In the meantime, Aries, have a wonderful June. Thank you for supporting this channel, and I will talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.